I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Charles of Foucauld was born in France in Strasbourg on September 15, 1858. He was orphaned, and Charles and his sister were raised by their grandfather. At the age of 14, Charles received his first Holy Communion and his confirmation on April 28, 1872. Charles was intelligent, and studies were easy for him. He liked books a lot, but he read anything. Little by little, he grew distant from the faith. He entered the military school, and after 2 years, he was already an officer. At 20 years old, he inherited his grandfather's fortune and dedicated himself to seeking his pleasure in foods and parties. They called him Fat Foucault. In October 1880, as a soldier, he was assigned to Algeria, but for maintaining an irregular relationship with a woman and rejecting the advice of his superiors, he was dismissed from his position. In 1886, he had a profound conversion experience. Life among the followers of Islam had given him pause, for they took their religion very seriously. He, on the other hand, had lived by wasting money and adventuring. He began to pray, Lord, if you really exist, let me know you. A friend directed him to Father Houvelin. Charles confessed and felt like a new man. As soon as he believed that there was a God, he understood that he could do nothing but to live for him. His religious vocation was born at the same time as his faith. On January 28, 1882, at the age of 30, he resigned from the army. Since then, he adopted a very simple life, sleeping on the floor and praying daily for hours. He went as a pilgrim to the Holy Land for 4 months. Walking through the places of Christ's life, he found his vocation to consecrate himself totally to God, imitating Jesus in a hidden and silent life. He spent 7 years with the Trappists, first in Our Lady of Snow, then in Akbis in Syria. Later, he lived alone in prayer and adoration near the poor clares of Nazareth. He was ordained as a priest in 1901 at the age of 43 and went to the Sahara Desert, first to Beni Abbas, then to Tamanrasset, in the midst of the Tuaregs of Hogar, where he settled. From January 1904, he dedicated himself to the evangelization of the nomadic trip of the Tuaregs. He translated the Gospels into the Tuareg language. He translated Tuareg poetry into French. He wrote several books on the Tuaregs, notably a French Tuareg French grammar and dictionary. The Berbers of the desert called him Marabout. The war was tearing Europe apart and had begun to reach the Sahara. On December 1st, 1916, at the age of 58, Charles of Foucauld was killed by the rifle shot in the midst of an anti-French revolt by the Berbers of Hogar. Charles of Foucauld lived his Christianity as a brother to all, beginning with the smallest. His goal was not to convert others, but to live God's gratuitous life, putting into practice the apostolate of goodness. That is why he wrote, I want to accustom all Christians, Muslim, Jews, and idolaters to consider me as their brother, the universal brother. On May 15, 2022, Pope Francis canonized St. Charles of Foucauld, who tried to live the simple purity of the gospel, because in the gospel is the truth about God, and with God we always win.